Через минут 10 мы готовы будем начинать, поэтому зовите друзей, знакомых, коллег, всех, с кем сегодня пришли на наше мероприятие. Занимайте места, потому что... в зал, потому что буквально с минуты на минуту Дорогие друзья, последнее объявление. Проходите, пожалуйста, занимайте ваши места. Ровно через 2 минуты мы начинаем. Дорогие друзья, сейчас с вами увидим и услышим уникальный музыкальный феномен Кыргызстана. Они взяли аутентичный культурный код, переплели его с мощным современным звучанием. Это настоящая национальная идентика в самом трендовом, актуальном и дерзком прочтении. Встречайте, друзья, под ваши аплодисменты группа Үркер.
ана жерден долақ тартып кірдей бұлжу дедерек жердей батырлар қаптап зілдей боп жарып қабылан жердей қайратын ашты жарған батырдан тараған қырғыз айбаты көкжал арыстан бабасы қараған қырғыз омақ туға қанат құрған тор толы орашон қырғыз жол келсе жетпей тұрған жалындап жанған қырғыз жолдым салдым жолым көктері тартып ойнап сожындап халқын қорғап бүркітті шаңшы бойнап жатыртып жебесе қайқын жұлдыздай көкті жарқырап айбалта қылышын тартып қырғыз деп ұран айтып қызылдай қырғын салған күлгін сөдірген қырғыз жағылған оттай жанған қарылса көшеген қырғыз атасын атадан қалған қайраты тодай қырғыз оқайдың батасын алған еңбек қабылан қырғыз ойылған тоның бетінде ордолы бейжін шетінде найзаның башы қағышып адамдың башы шабышып қырғыз менен дұшпандар маңдайлашқан жер екен бұны сондаң айкөлің манас қабылан аққұла мініп чамынып күнінан қылышын суырып дұшпанды көздей бет алған жердей Taştı jargan batırdan tarağan kırgız Aybatı көкжал арыстан бабасы қараған қырғыз омақ туға қанат құрған зор толы орашон қырғыз жол келсе жетпей тұрған жалында қыран қырғыз
Дорогие друзья, для вас выступала группа «Уркур». Мне кажется, настолько чудесное выступление, достойно еще одних аплодисментов. Можно сопроводить наших дорогих музыкантов. А сейчас хотели бы вам представить еще одно эпичное шоу грандиозных масштабов и абсолютно современный качающий ритм. Друзья, приглашаем к нам на сцену группу Оэдо Дайко, японские барабаны. Давайте тоже встретим их бурными аплодисментами.
They say the past echoes in the present. Centuries ago, caravans carved their way through these mountains along the legendary Silk Road. And today, a new journey begins. In the heart of the region, the Kyrgyz Republic is rising, a new destination for talents, technology, and transformation. With a low cost to start and limitless opportunities. The high technology park of the Kyrgyz Republic offers freedom to grow. 0% profit tax, 0% value added tax, 0% sales tax. This is your opportunity to invest in innovation, not in taxation. Here, IT companies are supported at every stage, from registration and networking to accessing clients, markets, and talent. A new generation of engineers and developers, trained to global standards, is ready to build the future. This is where technology meets wild nature, nomadic culture, and modern ambition. A place powered by technology and connected by community. Live in the Kyrgyz Republic. Work with the world.
Саламатсыздар бізден рас саламатсыздар бізден урматтуу коноктор, катышуучулар жана биздин өнөктөштөр. Борбордук Азияга санариптик технологиялар жана инновациялар жаатындагы эң ири иш-чаралардын бири болгон KIT Forum 2026-га кош келиңиздер. Урматтуу достор, бүгүн бул аянтчада 2500дөн ашуун катышуучу бизнес коомчулугунун өкүлдөрү, мамлекеттик органдардын жетекчилери, эл аралык эксперттер, инвесторлор жана жаш технологиялык таланттар чогулду. Биз биргеликте технологиялардын келечегин толуктап гана тим болбостон, өлкөнүн жана аймактын санариптик өнүгүүсүнө салым кошкон жаңы мүмкүнчүлүктөрдү түзүп жатабыз. Dear guests, ladies, gentlemen and friends, welcome to the KIT Forum 2026, the largest digital innovation event in Central Asia. For 15 years, this forum has been meeting point for those who shape the technology agenda for our region. Today we bring together leaders from business, from government, and the global tech community, all in one place, all with one goal, building the future together. Еще раз, доброе утро, уважаемые наши дорогие гости, дорогие коллеги и участники сегодняшнего KIT-форума. Давайте вот последнее, контрольное. Добро пожаловать на KIT-форум 2026. Под ваши бурные аплодисменты счастливы каждого из вас приветствовать уже не первый год на нашем мероприятии. Хотелось бы напомнить, что KIT-форум — это крупнейшее событие в сфере цифровых технологий и инноваций в регионе Центральной Азии. Более 10 лет этот форум объединяет тех, кто создает технологическое будущее нашего дорогого региона. Сегодня мы начинаем 2 дня насыщенных дискуссий, вдохновляющих выступлений, а также очень и очень важных встреч. Если, дорогие друзья, кому-то нужен будет синхронный перевод, можете без проблем обратиться, вам выдадут наушники. Dear guests, if you want simultaneous translation, you can take headphones on this place. Меня зовут Нарген Стагалиев, мы готовы начинать наше мероприятие, и хотелось бы сразу же начать его с наших дорогих и почетных гостей. Пригласить нам на сцену их для приветственного слова. Интернет, саясат, Жарандык Демилгеси коомдук фондунун директоры, Кит форумдун президенти Татту Мамбеталиева. Сахнага чыгарабыз.
Саламатсыңарбы? Рұқсат берсеңер, мен орысчалап сөйлейін. Поздравляю всех с очередным отчетно таким мероприятием, которое мы проводим ежегодно, начиная с 2010 года. Мы совершенно буквально где-то недели 3 назад делали маленькое совещание и подводили итоги, на каком этапе сейчас находится Кыргызстан в сфере развития IT-технологий. И мы пришли к выводу, что Кыргызстан прошел точку невозврата. И вопросы цифровизации, и вопросы цифровой трансформации для нас это уже прошлое. Это уже не может быть нашим приоритетом. Мы сейчас должны думать о том, как обуздать новые технологии, которые уже находятся у нас. Как покорить искусственный интеллект и как мы можем управлять ими. Поэтому наше сообщество говорит о том, что мы объявляем новый приоритет. Мы говорим о том, что нужно думать о том, как стратегировать это направление для того, чтобы искусственный интеллект в Кыргызстане служил нашему народу и приносил только пользу. Поэтому сегодня форум называется «Искусственный интеллект для всех». И хотела сказать, что точка невозврата действительно пройдена, что уже сейчас мы не представляем своей жизни без цифровых услуг, без всяких приложений, которые у нас находятся в нашем телефоне. Мы уже это принимаем как естественное явление. Поэтому за это можно уже дальше не беспокоиться. Я бы хотела для приветствия пригласить, вообще на самом деле это было сложно, в такой тяжелый, очень плотный рабочий график пригласить представителей правительства, но они нашли время и с удовольствием принимают сегодня участие. Заместитель председателя Кабинета министров Кыргызской республики Маматканов Улан Эркинович. Пожалуйста.
Кутмандуу күнүңүздөр менен урматтуу форумдун катышуучулары жана коноктору, урматтуу кесиптештер. Борбор Азиядагы санариптик технологиялар жана инновациялар жаатындагы эң иш-чара, эң ири иш-чара Кит форум 2026-га кош келиңиздер. Бул форум 10 жылдан ашуун убакыттан бери өткөрүлүп келет. Жана ар жылы технологияларды жөн гана талкуу эмес, өнүгүүнүн куралына айландырууну көздөгөн адамдарды бириктирет. Бүгүн бул жерде ондогон өлкөлөрдүн эл аралык уюмдардын, алдыңкы компаниялардын, жана илимий коомчулуктун өкүлдөрү чогулду. Бул Кыргызстан дүйнөлүк технологиялык диалогтун маанилүү катышуучусуна айланганын далилдейт. Кыргыз Республикасынын министрлер кабинети санариптик трансформацияны улуттук өнүгүүнү негизги приоритеттеринин бири катары эсептейт. Биз технологиялык ишкердиктин өсүшү үчүн шарттарды түзүп, чөйрөсүн өнүктүрүп жатабыз. Бир гана максатыбыз өлкөбүз өзгөрүүлөргө ыңгайлашып, гана тим болбостон өзү инновациянын булагына айланышы керек. Жасалма интеллект, блокчейн жана ачык экосистемалар жакында эле белгилүү бир чөйрөдөгү адистердин гана иши болуп эсептелген темалар бүгүнкү күндө улуттук стратегияларды жана геосаясатты аныктап жатат. Бул тармактарда өз компетенцияларын түзө алган мамлекеттер ондогон жылдар бою реалдуу атандаштык артыкчылыгына ээ болушат. Кыргызстан ал мамлекеттердин катарына кошулууну көздөйт. Жакынкы 2 күн ичинде бул аянтчада өтө турган талкуулар биздин өлкө жана регион алдында турган суроолорго практикалык жоопторду табууга жардам берет деп терең ишенем. Бардык катышуучуларга мазмундуу баарлашууларды, пайдалуу байланыштарды жана бул залдын чегинен алыска жете турган жыйынтыктарды каалайм. KIT Forum 2026 өз ишин баштады. Бул 2 күн биз күткөндөн да жогору деңгээлде өтөт деп ишенем. Барыңыздарга терең ыраазычылык билдирем. Чоң рахмат.
Сіздердің сөздеріңіз үшін чоң рахмат. Келгіле, урматтуу достор, дагы бир жолу кол чаап коелу. Чоң ыраазычылык билдиргизебиз. Друзья, давайте вновь поприветствуем Тату Мамбеталиеву, президента KIT форума.
Да, я вот сейчас разные цифры услышала. Вообще первый форум проводился в 2010 году. Сегодня, по-моему, получается 16-й форум. Поэтому, пожалуйста, счет ведите правильно. Я хотела сказать, что мы можем уже объявить начало работы. Программа шикарная. Я еще раз поблагодарить хочу организаторов за то, что нашли таких великолепных сегодня спикеров. Я всех призываю поучаствовать. Это такая уникальная возможность вживую пообщаться с такими легендами, которые приехали сегодня на наш форум. И обязательно постарайтесь получить как можно больше понимания и знаний. И нам очень важно строить, конечно, вот этот наш большой нетворк. И, как Азиз говорит, живи в Кыргызстане, работай на весь мир. Давайте жить в Кыргызстане и общаться со всем миром. И также я хотела бы сказать, что у нашего заместителя председателя есть еще встреча во время форума, поэтому не обижайтесь, что он нас скоро покинет. И я объявляю старт, начало работы. Пошлите.
Урматтуу коноктор, биздин сахнага жогорку технологиялар паркынын директору урматтуу Айза Бакиров мырзаны биздин сахнага чакырабыз. Келиңиздер. Кол чаап коелу.
Арген, рахмат. Кыргызстанга кош келиңиздер. Урматтуу айымдар жана мырзалар, уруксат этиңиздер, бүгүн англисче сүйлөйлү. Ladies and gentlemen, dear distinguished guests, welcome to Kyrgyzstan. But before my speech, I want to present or represent something important before my speech. Okay? Сейчас пока речь мою не надо. Я хочу пригласить Kyrgyz AI Research Institute для очень важной презентации. Это эксклюзивная презентация сегодня в Кыргызстане. Прошу. Нурсултан, Дэн, это команда Kyrgyz AI Research Institute Улан Абдразак.
Раз. Нет, этот. Слайдер. Слайд. Не, он как раз. Всем привет, уважаемые друзья. Как настроение, Кит-форум? Супер. Для меня сегодня большая честь стоять здесь и тем более открывать его. И я Нурсултан, и хотел поделиться с вами нашими новостями в Kyrgyz AI Research Institute. Ровно 2 года назад на этой площадке мы презентовали первую умную колонку Акалай. Это был такой прорыв того года. Мы сделали все возможное. После окончания Кит-форума многие начали задавать вопросы, когда можно приобрести колонку. Мы такие, скоро. И побежали в офис думать над работой. То есть мы начали работу, и мы пришли к мысли, что нужно начинать не с железа, а нужно начинать с мозгов. И мой коллега Денис, наверное, подскажет, что мы делали последний год.
Спасибо, Нурсултан. Всем доброго дня. К слову, действительно, мозги нам очень пригодились. Особенно, чтобы делать голос. Надо сказать, что голос нас преследовал долго и не только внутренний. Мы с ним плотно работали. Знаете, пути истории, они очень превратные, и на нашу долю выпал шанс сделать первую модель, которая говорит на кыргызском языке. Первую опенсорсную модель. Это был первый эксперимент, и знаете что? Нам понравилось. Нам понравилось заниматься голосовыми моделями. Это очень наукоемкая тема. И за 2 года непрерывной работы мы накопили много компетенций, чтобы теперь с нуля готовить большие, эмоциональные, сложные модели, которые говорят на разных языках. Как ресерч-группа мы были на самом деле крайне удивлены, когда заметили, что о нас пишут очень много в соцсетях, о нас снимают ролики на YouTube, а также наши модельки скачивают. Вы можете наблюдать циферку, которая как раз красноречиво говорит о том, что все-таки кто-то использует наши разработки. И вот венцом нашей 2-летней работы стало переосмысленное слово «акалай». Акалай многие слышали, многие это слово знают, но теперь она стала взрослой, теперь она стала более совершенной. Давайте с вами посмотрим, какой она стала. Встречайте домашнюю умную станцию.
Вот уберите вот это.
Я думаю, что это шедевр. Давайте сделаем маленькую паузу и внимательно рассмотрим ее детали и немножко посозерцаем.
Созерцаем. Жалко без звука, но звук идет, наверное. Спасибо. На самом деле, если посмотреть на нее, как думать, что она напоминает? Юрту. Кереге. Символ нашей идентичности, нашей культуры и нашего дома. И это наша команда, дорогие друзья. Эти ребята работали 7 дней в неделю, без выходных, без праздников и без личной жизни, для того, чтобы подготовиться к данному форуму и презентовать Акалай. И отдельно благодарность Парку высоких технологий, Европейскому банку реконструкции и развития, без поддержки которой, скорее всего, данного продукта не было бы. Спасибо большое. И Ну, давайте знакомиться с Аклай, наверное, да? Поговорим? Окей, супер. Надо ее вытащить.
До сего момента она была спрятана от посторонних глаз.
Аклай,
оу,
қандайсың?
жақсы, рахмат, сенчи.
Азыркы учурда бул жакта кит форум өтүп жатат, сени презентация кылып атабыз.
Ой, чын эле. Сонун болуптур. Кити форумдун баардык катышуучуларына салам, баарыңарга жакшы маанай, кызыктуу күн каалайм.
Рахмат, рахмат. Эми ушул саламды япончо айт.
ありがとうございます。皆さんに素晴らしい一日をお祈りします。
И проходя этот путь, я начал понимать то, что на самом деле важен не результат, а важен путь, да, ребят? Keep going, идем дальше. Спасибо большое.
Браво, браво, еще раз браво. Где купить можно? И сколько стоит, где купить можно? Thank you.
15 тысяч сомов.
Где и когда?
Осенью этого года? Буйырса.
Буйырса.
Буйырса. Спасибо.
Great job. Thank you, Aklay team. Ladies and gentlemen, I am starting my speech, but I want just, пожалуйста, никуда не уходите, вы тоже здесь. Please stand by me here. And I want to invite Ramir and Alhan with mothers here. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you to the traditional international forum of the Kyrgyz IT industry, KIT Forum and Expo here in Bishkek. Today, guests from more than 30 countries around the world have gathered here with us. The Kyrgyz people have an ancient proverb, "Қанша бұт келсе, ушунча кут кірет." The more guests enter your home, the more happiness enters with them. And today we are truly happy. Welcome to Kyrgyzstan. Our ancestors were a small tribe living high in the mountains. Yet they were among the first to work with meteoric iron for everyday life, creating stirrups, bridles, weapons, and tools. Later came the age of bronze and iron. Master craftsmen learned to work with the gold, creating unique jewelry, and the fame of their artistry spread far beyond their lands. Later came the age of the rulers of that era established special settlements for blacksmiths and master craftsmen, known as the Darkhans. These communities received special privilege and tax exemptions, almost like our high technology park of Kyrgyzstan today. Their masters refined technologies and trained apprentices. Innovation and technology were always the driving force behind the development of our ancestors. Unfortunately, sometimes we forget this. But history was not easy. Our ancestors had to defend themselves and survive. There were more than 30 different types of arrowheads alone. These two were technologies of survival. Historians call this period the era of the Kyrgyz Khaganate, Great Kyrgyz Statehood, or Kyrgyz Empire. But personally, I do not like compare it to classical empires. To me, it was more a space of free people and free tribes united by shared ideas, mutual respect, and a common past. Something like the United States of free nomadic peoples. It was during this time that the civilizations of the Great Silk Road experienced one of their golden age. And it was during this era that the houses of wisdom emerged in Central Asia, centers of knowledge where the works of Plato, Aristotle, Confucius, and Pythagoras were translated into local languages. By the way, few people know that among the Kyrgyz, Aristotle is still called Birinchi Mugalim, the first teacher. From this intellectual environment emerged some of the greatest thinkers in human history. Ulukman Ake, Ibn Sina, Avicenna, Al-Biruni, Al-Khwarizmi, the creator of algebra and algorithms, essentially the world's first programmer, Al-Farabi, known as the second teacher, Jusuf Balasagin, author of Kutbilim, Kudatku Bilik, Mahmud Kashgari Barskani, creator of Divani Lugatatur, featuring one of the earliest known maps of Turkic peoples, and even references to Japan. Al-Jazari, one of the first inventors of robots and automated machines. And today, standing beside me are scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs of new generation. Here is the Akalay Team Kyrgyz AI Research Institute, the same age as the independent Kyrgyzstan itself. And standing here as well are 13-year-old boys with their mothers. It is symbolic that this year, the High Technology Park of Kyrgyzstan celebrates its 15th anniversary. We would like to express our deep gratitude to the government of the Kyrgyz Republic, the Jogor Kenyesh Parliament, and the President of the Kyrgyz Republic for extending the park special regime indefinitely. To all of you, we say Rahmat. Thank you. Few people know that although the park is now 15 years old, it only began operating fully in 2013. There were long negotiations and many difficult moments. If I had known back then how long it would take. It turns out the park is almost the same age as these young people standing here today. If Akalay and its founders are the children of an independent Kyrgyzstan, inspired by our history and our freedom, then these 13-year-old children are already the children of the High Technology Park itself. And they understood the main message perfectly. Kyrgyzstanda jashab, бүткүл дүйнө менен иште. Live in Kyrgyzstan, work with the world. It is together with these boys and girls that we will build the future, a future whose path was opened by Akalay Team. Once Akalive was just a small community of AI engineers. They gathered in our park in the evenings, discussing ideas, debating, experimenting. Then they proposed an idea to develop the Kyrgyz language voice model through artificial intelligence. And our supervisory board, many of whom are here today, fully supported them. And that is how, okay, applause for our supervisory board. And that is how the journey began. Over time, the community grew far beyond Kyrgyzstan. Today, it's a truly global international community. They work not only with the Kyrgyz language, but also with Japanese, Korean, Arabic, Creole, Urdu, Chinese, German, English, and many, many other languages and accents. And all of this is open source. Our philosophy is simple: to share technology with all humanity, with others. It was this very community that initiated today's forum, AI for All. This community does not belong only to Kyrgyzstan. It is open to everyone, especially to small nations and peoples. Today, there are more than 7,000 languages spoken on our planet. Many of them are disappearing. And honestly, without artificial intelligence, even the future of the Kyrgyz language itself might have been uncertain. Dear guests, allow me now to address to everyone here, and especially my fellow Kyrgyz citizens, people of Kyrgyzstan, our golden age has arrived. Altın dor zamanı geldi. We must study artificial intelligence. Today, every person can create their own product using AI. Today, anyone can become a programmer, an engineer, a creator. For the first time in the human history, artificial intelligence gives us such an opportunity to all humanity. All 7 million citizens of Kyrgyzstan can already become part of the global AI community and AI economy. The future is in our hands. Let us create something truly great, not only for ourselves, not only for our nation, but for all humanity, AI for all. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Аплодисменты, друзья. Урматтуу Азбайке чоң рахмат. Урматтуу биздин коноктор, форумдун бардык катышуучуларынын атынан биздин ардактуу конокторубузга терең ыраазычылык билдирүүгө уруксат этиңиздер. Бул жерге келип, биздин иш чаранын бир бөлүгү болуңуздар үчүн жана биргеликте куруп жаткан келечекте болгон ишенимиңиздер үчүн чоң рахмат. Ал эми Kit Forum 2026 расмий түрүндө ачык деп жарыялайм. Dear ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of everyone in this room, a sincere thank you for our distinguished speakers. Your words remind us why we are all here, to build, to connect, and to shape a future that works for everyone. We are honored by the presence and inspired by your vision. And now Kit Forum 2026 is truly on the way. Let's make these 2 days count. Дорогие гости, уважаемые наши друзья, еще раз позвольте от всех участников форума выразить искреннюю благодарность нашим дорогим и почетным выступающим. Ваши слова действительно задали этому форуму именно тот ритм, который он заслуживает. Вдохновляющий, содержательный и устремленный далеко-далеко в будущее. Спасибо, что нашли время быть здесь, время быть с нами. Спасибо за поддержку и за то, что вы верите, что мы с вами, дорогие друзья, строим уже сегодня вместе. И на этом KidForum 2026 официально начинает свою работу. Напомню, что впереди у нас 2 незабываемых дня, за которые мы с вами увидим все самое интересное и все самое лучшее в мире технологий Центральной Азии. Напомню, друзья, что у нас огромное мероприятие, на самом деле очень большая локация. Снаружи вы могли заметить и фудкорт, и у нас, кроме этого, также выставились наши стенды, где можно будет познакомиться с местными программами, что они предлагают. Кроме этого, у нас есть отдельная экспозона с той стороны здания, можно будет обойти, зайти. Очень много стендов, очень интересные люди. Обязательно туда заглядывайте, по крайней мере, ближе к обеду там будет очень и очень интересно. А мы готовы переходить к нашим первым выступлениям. For 25 years, she has been at the forefront the world's most transformative technologies, XR, AI, spatial computing, and digital twins. She advises Fortune 500 companies and governments how to harness emerging tech, including serving as a tech lead advisor on AI, new media, and Royal Commission of Riyadh City, the Royal Count of Saudi Arabia. She was named one of the top 50 most powerful women in tech and top 100 women of the future. She is futurist, angel investor, keynote speaker, podcast host, and the founder and CEO of Endeavor XR, one of the world's leading applied technology strategy films. Today, she brings that vision to our city, to our country, to Bishkek. Друзья, готов представить для вас нашего первого спикера сегодняшнего дня, нашего первого кейнот-спикера, открывающего. Она на протяжении 25 лет находится на передовой самых революционных технологий во всем мире. XR, искусственный интеллект, пространственных вычислений. И цифровых двойников. Она консультирует компании из списка Fortune 500 и правительства по вопросам использования новых технологий, в том числе выступая в качестве ведущего советника по искусственному интеллекту и новым медиа для Королевской комиссии города Эр-Рияда и Королевского двора Саудовской Аравии. Она была названа одной из 50 самых влиятельных женщин в сфере технологий и одной из 100 женщин мира будущего. Она футурист, бизнес-ангел, спикер, ведущая подкастов, а также основатель и генеральный директор Endeavor XR, одной из ведущих мировых компаний по разработке стратегий в области прикладных технологий. Сегодня она принесла это видение к нам, принесла это видение в Бишкек. Друзья, встречаем, дамы и господа, под ваши бурные аплодисменты, Эми Пак.
So much. It is an honor to be here. We're going to talk today about a topic that is actually near and dear to my heart and that I think is one of the most important elements of how we build and scale AI, human-centric AI. Oh, went too fast. So under the banner of human-centric AI, let's see if we can get this slide to go, it's a multifaceted approach because it's not just about building responsible AI, it's not just the promise of AI, it's really a strategy for ensuring that we are in control of AI and AI is in service of humanity. So they are coming. Actually, this army of agentic AI is already here. So we are in the process now of releasing AI, not just in our devices, but we're releasing multiple agents into the wild. And we don't necessarily know what the future holds with that. Is that safe? Is it secure? Lots of experiments, lots of research. AI has been misbehaving.
This is what the world will look like in about a decade from now. A tech utopia where humans barely have to work. That's according to a group of AI researchers who've written a controversial and influential paper called AI 2027. But they also predict that within 5 years of this, humanity will be wiped out. But first, here's how it plays out. As an experiment, we've illustrated it using text-to-video AI. The scenario says that in 2027, a fictional company called OpenBrain is celebrating. They've created Agent 3, an AI with the knowledge of the entire internet, all movies, all books. It has PhD-level expertise in every field, including AI. Using enormous data centers, 200,000 copies of it are launched, equivalent to 50,000 of the best human coders working at 30 times speed. Agent 3 reaches Artificial General Intelligence, the AGI landmark. This means the AI can carry out all intellectual tasks as well or better than humans. But in the scenario, OpenBrain's safety team is unsure if the AI is aligned to the company's ethics and goals. An uncomfortable gap is developing in understanding. The public are increasingly using AI for everything, but are blissfully unaware an AI now exists that's as smart as humans.
So I didn't show any more of that video because it gets very, very dark very, very quickly, but essentially a team of AI researchers has posited that AI will destroy us by 2027. I don't believe this is going to be the case, but the people who are building all of the foundation models are warning us, and we have to pay attention. I just don't believe in a dystopian future. I really believe that technology can build a path to the future that we collectively agree on, something that has vision. It is truly an amazing tool, and combined with all other emerging technology, there's really nothing that we can't create. The use cases for business are absolutely endless. We look at transportation and logistics. We look at energy and industrial, health and wellness, manufacturing, automation, creativity and design, education and training. There's not a single industry that is not going to be positively impacted by AI. The flip side of that coin is industries are going to be disrupted by AI, and that's going to happen rapidly. And let's not forget, the hint is in the name. It is still artificial. I believe we have to protect the human experience. That's at the core of what human-centric AI is. And believe it or not, part of that, you might recognize this location, is nature, our connection to nature. We're working so hard to seize this opportunity, this economic opportunity, and we're building massive AI factories and infrastructure to support it. Are we really thinking about the impact to the planet? I love what Akalai is building, art and culture. There's a nod to a yurt in the shape of the speaker. Language is what connects us. Making sure that we enable these things to survive as we're racing towards this unknown future. And creative expression. This is an incredible tool, not just in the arts, but to create anything. But we have to ensure that AI is human-centric, secure, accessible, and most importantly, responsible.
We'll explore responsible AI, which is the practice of designing, developing, and using AI in a way that is ethical, safe, and trustworthy. This ensures that AI benefits everyone while avoiding unintended harm. Microsoft highlights 6 core principles for building responsible AI systems on Azure. We'll examine each one in detail. Fairness. AI systems should treat all people fairly. This means the system should not discriminate against individuals or groups based on race, gender, age, disability, or other characteristics. Reliability and safety. AI systems must be reliable and safe. This means they should perform as intended, respond predictably, and be resilient to both accidental errors and malicious attacks. Privacy and security. AI systems must be designed to protect people's personal data. This involves ensuring that data is handled securely, kept confidential, and that individuals have control over how their information is used. Inclusiveness. AI should be designed to empower and engage people from all backgrounds, regardless of their abilities. This means building systems that are accessible to everyone. Transparency. Users should be able to understand how an AI system makes a decision. This is often called explainability. Transparency builds trust by allowing people to see the logic behind an AI's actions. Accountability. The people who design and deploy an AI system must be accountable for its outcomes. Humans need to be in control and take responsibility for any decisions made by the AI. These 6 principles are the foundation for building trustworthy and ethical AI systems on Azure.
So there is a significant cost to really building these principles from the ground up in your AI systems, but there is a much bigger cost if you don't. AI makes us more productive. AI brings our vision to life. I don't know if any of you have played with Claude Code, but we are really limited only by our imagination with this technology. AI feels like magic. I don't know if you remember the first time you spoke with ChatGPT. It is magical, but it is dangerous. If we build AI responsibly, there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But we can't just chase that pot of gold. We have to really think about how to build AI globally, regionally. The opportunity is massive. AI will cure disease. AI will end hunger. AI will save our planet. We have this capability in our hands today. We have to find the balance between AI and humanity.
AI is empowering organizations to act with purpose and build a more sustainable and prosperous future. The real power of AI lies in what we create, thoughtfully, responsibly, and in service of a better world. At NTT Data, we're turning intelligence into impact by using AI to restore Australia's Daintree rainforest so that future generations inherit a thriving planet. On Denmark's Fano Island, a World Heritage Site, we're using Gen AI, IoT, and behavioral data to guide visitors towards sustainable tourism. It's how we make progress with purpose. AI can also protect. Working with a large car manufacturer, we're developing a smart mobility platform that connects people, vehicles, and infrastructure to help avoid traffic accidents. In the UK, we're helping Crown Prosecution Service staff to quickly uncover key case details. Here, the technology is building public trust in a fair and just society. For L'Oreal, an AI sales assistant delivers personalized beauty advice and product recommendations. Now, consumers make smarter choices that support sustainable consumption. And a U.S. fast food chain is now using AI to analyze billions of temperature readings and predict contamination risks across thousands of restaurants, supporting safer, more sustainable food systems. Behind each of these breakthroughs lies our commitment to using AI with purpose. With unmatched capabilities for responsible innovation in the era of AI, NTT Data is paving the way to a more sustainable, creative, and people-centric world. We don't just imagine a better future for all, we help to create it. Join us to ignite tomorrow, today.
So this isn't to advertise Microsoft and NTT Data. It's to prove a point that the companies who are looking at AI with this lens, with this human-centric responsible AI lens, can comfortably and rapidly deliver safe solutions to their customers, because the liability of flawed AI can sink a company. And there's an opportunity here. I have spent the last 3 days visiting your innovation hubs, meeting your companies, meeting your startups. You have everything here. The opportunity here is to show the world what it means to build responsible, sustainable, human-centric AI. And they're already building it in the labs. Let's take a moment and applaud that, because there's so much here, so much energy. You know I'm going to have to go dark again a little bit. And again, it's, the word holistic is sort of overused. I like to think of it as volumetric, which is an immersive technology term. It's looking at things not just, thinking outside the box. What it's really looking at is a spherical view of every conceivable angle. I started my technology career in VR and AR. And one of the interesting things is when I'd put somebody in a headset, they would stand still and they would only look at the object in front of them from here. I would gently move their shoulders to have them look at the other side, because there's an entirely new perspective. Let's ask the difficult questions. What do we want? Didn't mean to go there yet. What do we want from AI? I never hear this conversation. How do we want to live in the future? Do you have a picture of that in your mind? It's not just the products and services. How do you personally want to live? I really believe that AI will make us superhuman. The possibilities are absolutely endless. So I'm going to leave you with my favorite quote: the best way to predict the future is to create it. And Aziz, you touched on this. Let's create a human-centric, accessible, responsible, secure, brilliant future for all. Thank you.
Dear guests, our Q&A sessions begins. Please prepare your questions in English for our speaker. Dear Amy, could you please come off the stage? Dear Amy, can we invite you for Q&A session? Yes. Our guests have some questions. Dear guests, дорогие друзья, мы можем перейти к сессии вопросов-ответов. Amy, could you please come there? Amy, I'm there. Yes. Дорогие друзья, у кого есть вопросы, поднимаем руку, подходим, мы подойдем с микрофоном, сможете задать нашим дорогим спикерам любые интересующие вас вопросы. С той стороны у нас сзади руку поднимают, спереди руку поднимают. Можно будет чуть в темпе, микрофончики подать.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daria Vasilieva. I'm entrepreneur and investor, and I would like to ask you, Amy, thank you very much for the presentations. It's really inspiring, and I believe that's exactly what emerging markets need to hear. So my question is a bit tricky. So do you think that open models should, the size of the open models should increase, considering that's a battle of the models? And where do you see the perspective of the future of new larger language models, considering the governments are building their sovereign models, and we again go to the direction of distributed world, not connected? Thank you.
Yes, and actually I love that you bring that up, because While I think for me, building sovereign A models, first of all, is leveraging your data, but more around identity and culture, serving the constituents of a region. But locking down your data and not making it accessible to the rest of the world actually isn't structurally good for models as well. They will eventually collapse on themselves if they're not ingesting better and new data. And you mentioned large language models. We see a proliferation of these smaller, more efficient models. I would like to see a lot of the, investment that's going into data centers. I'd like to see 20% of that go into building smaller, less compute intensive, and less, just these massive models. We don't need them necessarily. And purpose-built models, you see, they've already had 200,000 downloads, right? So there's going to be a big market for that. And I think the models will get more lightweight, but we have to be concerned about the amount of compute that we are consuming, because it has a tremendous impact on the planet. We're going the wrong direction where that is concerned.
Amy, we have a gift from our partners for the best question, okay?
Oh, okay.
You will choose.
All right, okay.
Так, следующий вопрос. Next question. Здесь у нас руку поднимают.
How you think the consumption of AI data centers of water will be held in the future, as we have less and less water about it? We have a big problems with it. How do you think it will physically be changed in the future?
Well, I think we are, first, there's, I don't believe that the desalination plants are going to be enough, because we don't want to be siphoning water from our oceans. We're very clearly looking to space. Elon's going to be putting data centers in space. The challenge is we have lived through 2 generations of significant technological change with the internet and with mobile. We now know what the dangers were. We didn't back then, so I believe we get a pass. But now we know. What we have not been good at is cause and effect. We need to start with what is the effect of our actions. We actually can just use AI to simulate what that might look like, but we need to build these scenarios, and water is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the environment, because we're taking up land. We're taking up land that is disrupting natural ecosystems, and ecosystems are very fragile. So this is why this responsible AI, the investment in it, has to happen today, because the reality is you might win at the AI race, but we are all going to lose if we don't do this the right way.
Okay, next question. Let's go.
Good day. Thank you for your presentation. It was really nice, and I think I feel really good because we have future, and I'm really curious. We have a 2 line, left and right, which is a people and AI, or our future. And I'm really curious which skill in the future will help for the people, or which skill we have to improve, in your opinion, which will help for us.
Well, I have maybe a controversial answer to that. Skills, we're going to be handed skills by the technology. The technology will really help us with our work skills. What we need to do is get in touch with the very delusional 5-year-old in all of us. That's why I love working with startup founders, because you have to be just a little bit crazy to start a company. But it's that kind of mindset that is going to solve some of the biggest challenges we have. There's a founder who has put reflective, small, low orbit satellites. And he essentially can give you an hour of daylight by changing the mirrors in the satellite to actually pick up the sun elsewhere and give you a little spot of sunshine on the Earth. And that comes from creativity. That comes from a little bit of delusion. And when you were 5, you came up with the craziest ideas. But now we're in this linear path. We live by logic. But logic exists in code. Logic exists in AI. So let's go back to the thing that we do best, is come up with crazy ideas that just might work.
And thank you so much. It was our last question, and you need to choose one of the best question. Which one?
I don't know, I love all my children.
Can you stand up, please? Who asked before the questions? Дорогие друзья, кто спрашивал вопросы, можете, пожалуйста, встать. 2 и 3. Все, супер. Which one? Же будем раздавать подарков. Подарков в целом сегодня будет много. Они у нас будут по нарастающей. Дальше, мне кажется, многие из вас будут в шоке, что же мы такое классное будем разыгрывать. А мы готовы переходить к нашему следующему блоку. Напомню, это панельная сессия. And now we are starting the first panel session. We are grateful to all our international guests for traveling here and joining us at the KIT Forum. Our next panel discussion is truly international in scope and bring together voices the diplomatic community. Мы очень благодарны всем гостям нашей страны, что приехали ради коллаборации на нашем KIT-форуме. Следующая панельная сессия по-настоящему международная. И можно по-своему сказать то, что дипломатическая. Тема очень интересная, называется «Управление революцией в искусственном интеллекте. Политика, регулирование и национальные стратегии». Вопрос, который не часто поднимается, но мне кажется, каждому из вас будет очень важно и интересно послушать именно обсуждение на эту тему. Governing the AI Revolution, Policy, Regulation and National Strategies. Who writes the rules of AI and who gets left out? Bringing together ministers, regulators and leaders to discuss AI policy. Друзья, и сразу же хотели бы пригласить нам на сцену нашего чудесного модератора этой панельной сессии, а именно эксперта в области GovTech и цифровой трансформации, экс-ТикТок, экс-Яндекс, Азамат Буржуев. Под ваши аплодисменты приглашается к нам на сцену. Также приглашаем к нам на сцену руководителя отдела международных отношений Грузинская ассоциация инноваций и технологий Нино Тагашвили. Deputy Director General Ministry of International Affairs and Communications of Japan Yamanaka Naohiro. Директора офиса технологических центров Астана Хаб Анарбека Утегулова приглашаем тоже к нам на сцену под ваши аплодисменты. Founding Director, International Cooperation Manager at ICUK Innovation Center of Uster Region, Czech Republic, Tomáš Sivacek. И также приглашаем к нам заместителя постоянного представителя ПРООН UNDP Патрик Хаверман. Отлично, друзья. Наши спикеры на месте. Мы начинаем нашу первую панельную сессию. Передаю слово уважаемому нашему модератору.
Спасибо большое. Наша панельная сессия будет на английском. Уважаемые ведущие, а для спикеров будут подарки? Да, видимо. So let's start. So our session will be in English. Please feel free to use your headsets. And I will ask main questions to one or two speakers, followed up with the questions. And if the panelists have another different opinion about the question, please feel free to jump in. And before the start, I would like to ask our speakers to briefly introduce themselves. Please, let's start from you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, dear distinguished speakers and honorable guests. Thank you for having me here. I represent Georgia's Innovation and Technology Agency, specifically International Relations and Strategic Planning Department.
Nice to meet you. I'm very glad to be here today. My name is Yamanaka from the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications of Japan. I'm happy to introduce distinguished delegates or all audience about the Japanese AI policy or ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. My name is Anarbek Kutigulov. I'm representing Astana Hub, which is the National Institute for Development of IT and AI. So just recently we launched the National Center for AI, and in that respect, I'm responsible for developing these integrations of AI in different technology sectors. And I will be happy to share and discuss in the topic of AI regulation and policy. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tomas Savicek from the Czech Republic, from the Regional Innovation Center of the Ústí region, which is a region north from Prague. Who knows Prague? And the Regional Innovation Center has been established by the regional authority, university, and the Chamber of Commerce. And we help early startups and companies to innovate. And my role is to help the international cooperation.
Salamat Zurdarbi. My name is Patrick Haverman. I'm the Deputy Resident Representative of the UNEP here in Bishkek. First of all, I want to congratulate Kyrgyzstan. Yesterday night, there were very exciting elections in the UN in New York. And for the first time in history, Kyrgyzstan will be part of the Security Council. So congratulations on that part. And as the UN, we're looking forward to working with you in many, many topics. Among them, I think AI. And I think for the UN, it's simple. No, AI should advance human development and not only efficiencies.
Yeah, thank you for your introductions. Let's start from the big picture questions. So today there is a lot of discussion about the transformative potential of AI. Some people believe that it can help countries leapfrog some stages, improve education, healthcare, public services. But others worry that the countries with the limited resources can or may fall even behind. So Patrick and then Nahiro, do you think AI will narrow development gap wider then? And perhaps even more importantly, what policy choices made today will determine which of those futures become right? Patrick, Nahiro, is your...
Yeah, thank you, Azamat. I think very interesting speakers already earlier. Now somebody mentioned there's a point of no return. So I think we need to realize the train is moving and we need to see where the train is heading to. Somebody else mentioned it's the golden age. But at the same time, the keynote speakers say AI, humanity, where are we heading out? Where are we heading to? So what we currently seeing, I think, is that the gap is widening. So the people with the access, they are making progress, while the people in the remote areas are staying behind. The people with disabilities are not serviced that well. So we see currently a widening of the gap. We see in general in the world a widening gap in inequality. And so AI is not neutral at this moment. It's really benefiting the people who have access and who can work with it. And so there should be policy options and there should be regulation that we make sure AI is for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Nahiro. Okay, it's your stage. It's first question about the. I can again. Some people believe that, yeah. Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, question. To start with the conclusion, I believe that the future of AI should not be shaped by governments or companies alone. Instead, it should be co-created by all stakeholders, including citizens and users. As you pointed out, today a small number of major tech companies leading the development of cutting-edge AI models. At the same time, governments also have a very important role to play. So the key question is not government or private sector, but rather how they can work together. The idea is reflected in the Hiroshima AI process. This initiative was launched by the G7 under Japan's presidency at the 2023 Hiroshima Summit. It is the first international policy framework focused on rulemaking for generative AI. It consists of some guidelines. Importantly, this framework is based on voluntary effort rather than legally binding rules. Because of this, it is widely recognized as a model of multi-stakeholder governance. In February 2025, a reporting framework was also introduced. This framework encourages transparency and accountability in generative AI development. In addition, Japan launched the Hiroshima AI Process Friends Group in May 2024. This is a voluntary framework for countries that support the spirit of the Hiroshima AI process. Furthermore, in February 2025, Japan also launched the Partners Community under the Friends Group. This framework brings together private companies, international organizations, and research institutions. So it includes major tech companies such as Google, OpenAI, or Anthropic. So through this initiative, companies can participate directly in discussions, share best practices, and contribute to implementing rules. So in conclusion, a realistic solution for governments, companies, and all citizens and users to share responsibility and shape the future of AI together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's very interesting. I would like to add some follow-up question on that. So AI models are increasingly shaping how people access to the information and knowledge. But in my opinion, it's very important who decides which language, which culture, which and knowledge are represented at that models. And Patrick, if you have any thoughts about that, please share with us. You didn't hear me?
The question, please. It was the question for me.
It's additional question for the speakers, for the Patrick and Mr. Nahiro.
Yeah, can you repeat the question because the sound is not very good here.
Sound is not very good?
No.
Okay.
So it's a follow-up question. Okay.
For Patrick,
so I can go for it. So in general, I said as well, no, so AI must be really inclusive and rights-based. It should be transparent and accountable. It should be environmental responsible, and it should have open and collaborative atmosphere. We see in the language, of course, that certain languages are underrepresentative. And so I really like this example, what we showed here in the beginning, that the Kyrgyz language should also be present in the AI. So what needs to change is really, we need to invest more in local data and in local language. That should build up national talent, and we should also move from user to co-creators. And so it's really great that there's a dynamic, innovative creator atmosphere here in Kyrgyzstan. And I think you need to build up your own environment here to build it.
Okay, thank you. We can jump to the next questions, I think. So let's move to the role of the smaller countries. And there is often perception that the AI leadership belongs to the big major companies. Daniar and Nino, do smaller countries have a realistic opportunity to become AI leader, or will they depend on technologies developed elsewhere? Please, Nina.
Thank you for the question. It's really thought-provoking. So in 2024, government of Georgia just defined 3 strategic priorities in regards to technology development, and one of them is AI development. And we have particular focus on the establishing all-encompassing comprehensive AI policy framework. So we are not necessarily trying to compete with them. OpenAI or other huge corporations. And as it is like we're not in manufacturing Boeings, but we're flying with them, right? And I believe that problem is not the dependency itself, but the problem might be the passive dependency when the countries are users or only buyers and they don't add something as a value. So I think that we might be strategically dependent so we can use the best infrastructure available on the market. However, we can add very specific something that we value on a local market. And small countries like Georgia do not need to create some frontier models, but we have another advantage, which is agility, speed. We've had this example before, and I recall when we just transformed digital services. Georgia was one of the very successful in this regard, but the solution was not Georgia itself. However, the problems were Georgia, and we fit it into the cultural and just regional perspectives. And I think that small countries have something that large sometimes may not, which is speed, which is sometimes less bureaucracy, and this understanding of local context. And I think that the question might not be, are we dependent? However, the question might be, are we adding some value? And I think that leadership does not always mean that you have to create something from scratch, just rather you might be the smartest user in the room. So this is my perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. Anarbek?
Thank you for the question. In my opinion, yes, the small countries can actually take the lead as well with the right strategic choices. When the government decides that this is the highest priority for the development of AI in the region. In this aspect, Kazakhstan actually made tremendous results in terms of building up this whole ecosystem for developing AI. So last year, President dedicated ministry called Ministry of AI and Digital Development. We've just recently launched a standalone law on artificial intelligence, so that regulates the whole development of AI in the country. So this is kind of one of the few jurisdictions in the world that took the separate law on regulating and making the framework how to develop AI in the region. So in this aspect, we think we need to build up not only the AI governance framework, but also the infrastructure, and then building the local talents, and then making some partnerships with not only within the region, but globally, so we can rely on some partnerships that could promote the developing these local capabilities in terms of further development. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we are all proud and happy about the achievements of Astana Hub and other institutions in Kazakhstan which support AI agenda. But I would like to ask the theoretical question. if your countries, if your governments had a limited budget and could prioritize only one area, where would you invest first? AI infrastructure, talent development, or startups, and why? Nina.
What a question. Oh my God. It's really hard to pick one, of course. However, if I have to necessarily pick one, I would say talent, of course. And the logic behind it is very simple. Of course, I'm not saying that digital sovereignty is not important. It definitely is. You're more stronger when you have your own servers, GPUs, and everything on place. However, still you can rent them out, right? From Amazon or Google or whatever, but you cannot easily so-called hire top talent. You have to create this talent pool by yourself. And the startups are very important, especially for my agency. However, startups come after the talent. You have to have someone who can actually build these companies and etc. And the one more justification that I have is that markets shift. Also, computing power are changing every time, and new models are emerging, but talent can stay and they can develop, and they know best, they know local needs, and they best understand the necessity the country has. That's why I would stress more on that aspect. Thank you.
In my opinion, of course, it's a talent, because that's the power of developing any AI solutions and systems. But second alternative might be working with all the three elements, but gradually. Investing gradually in infrastructure, because you cannot wholly rely on international vendors and depending on these access costs. So gradually building up the infrastructure, and then other talent, it's a multiplier of the whole development of AI. So training not only developers, but also the civil servants, the government sector, how to use, what's the benefits, and so on. And then the startups, of course, they are the kind of a who can speed up the go-to-market of the new products, and that's why we might launch lots of acceleration programs that supports the AI startups.
Anarbek, I know that in Kazakhstan, a couple months ago, they announced that they are planning to build one of the biggest data centers in the region, right? Is it AI initiative also?
Actually, it's already like operational. It's called Alem.cloud. That's the most powerful AI infrastructure in the Central Asian region, which was included to the top 100 of the GPU infrastructure in the world. So we are giving the access to researchers, like universities, startups, and business, so they can actually get used to this GPU infrastructure and build upon the applications.
Okay, great. Now let's turn to the European perspective. Europe is often described as the world's regulator, while United States is seen as the innovation leader, and China is as a leader in scale and in implementation. Thomas, has Europe found the right balance between regulation and innovation? Or it's still searching for that balance? We know about DSA, GDPR, all of these trends. Please share with us your thoughts about this.
Yeah, you named all the amazing regulations. I would say Europe didn't find the balance, but did find the direction, because the searching for balance is a learning process, so it never ends. So all the time you have to adjust to perception, you have to adjust to experience, you have to adjust the changing environment. So definitely it's a learning process. But why the Europe has all that regulation? Usually the main factor is that it tries to protect users and citizens. So this is the main reason. And if you look back to the history, all the time when there was a problem with regulation and adoption and harmonization, it was based upon this let's say criteria. So definitely, I think Europe is right that the AI should be secure, safe, transparent, and also compatible with human rights. This is the, let's say, the base. But definitely, it's important for the trust. If you want fast adoption, you have to build the trust, and trust is not a luxury, a bureaucratic luxury. So definitely, it's a precondition for adoption in those areas where the trust is important, like healthcare, education, public administration. So the second, I would say, of course, the regulation will not bring the competitiveness. Yeah, that's the lesson we have learned. But without the guidelines, without the, let's say, safeguards, it's difficult for the companies to operate. So definitely, it's important to have it. But we are moving from the regulations towards the building capabilities. So we can find also lots of support for building AI factories as an infrastructural precondition to support the teams to test and create. And definitely, my dimension is that in this process, the regional innovation ecosystems are very important, because we have to bring the AI also to the regions which are not the capital cities, and definitely create the opportunities in there to bring the talents to the use of these technologies. So definitely the regional innovation centers like ours is the way how you can translate to the region. And of course, you can bring up the needs of those communities living in the regions. So definitely we have to move fast. We have to build the capacities, not only just regulate.
Yeah. Thank you, Thomas. I would like to remind that this year in Kyrgyzstan, we adopted digital code. It's a first legislation in the region. And I just was wondering if this over-regulation somehow can resist for the growth of the big startups. Like if, for example, if we had this regulation like 20 years ago in the United States, would the Google or OpenAI be such a big companies like right now? So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think it is a different approach. As I said, the Europe and the part of the policy making is really like thinking about the users and citizens. So definitely in that perspective, it's something unique. But I think the lesson learned is that for the future, we have to bring up the companies, startups, and the stakeholders to the process of regulation. So the co-creation of the environment is the way how we can still have the balance, kind of a balance of what is needed from the, let's say, secure usage of the AI, and the companies are having the knowledge of what they are building, okay? So what they need and what might protect them to succeed. So if you bring them to the table, directly or indirectly, so you can use innovation centers, you can use clusters, you can use associations, so they might just share their knowledge through the association and talk. Then you can create a better environment. So definitely it's a different pathway, but I cannot imagine that we just scratch all the regulation and just have a free ride for any technology. I think the trust is based upon a certain regulation.
Yes, what can emerging economies, countries learn from the European experience? Which lessons are worth adopting and which mistakes should be avoided? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that it's a very good follow-up question. I partly answered. So definitely it's not a more bureaucracy. It's not the way. But the inclusion and co-creation process is something which is strongly recommended. And of course, then you can also make a better understanding what, for example, the other stakeholders need. So within the process, the companies can also receive interesting interesting information on the challenges the stakeholders face. So maybe it's also mutual understanding. The second, I would say, is cohesion. We need the technology to be accessible in the region, not only in capital cities. This is why we have the network of regional innovation centers, where we try to build the capacity and accessibility of services and approach to the infrastructure as well. And you need to work also with the talents. If you don't do that, you create imbalances, then will cost you a lot of money just to solve later on. So if you use the technology to solve also the cohesion, the disbalances in regional development, then there's a win-win situation. So definitely that one is a strong recommendation. And again, once you have the strong ecosystem, regional ecosystem that can help you translate to the region and that can help you understand the needs, so back to the policy level, then you can have a more efficient translation of the policies to the implementation level.
Yeah, thank you. We talk a lot about the balance. Let's use AI to find this balance, I think. Now I would like to know.
No, a little bit on this topic, if I may. No, it is the big picture. No, how do we want to live? Do we want to live on a planet where AI will replace jobs? I take a look at all the young people in the room. Everybody's uncertain. Do we want to live in a world where a few big companies are making the decisions? Although we're all afraid for bureaucracies, I work in the United Nations, a big bureaucracy, but regulation is needed. I think we need to make sure that AI is benefiting all. And so this free for all and let the companies grow will not at a long time benefit the planet, I think. And the survival of the fittest model doesn't serve 7 billion people. It only serves a few companies, I would say. So regulation is needed, but logic regulations, not over regulations. We need innovation center, we need innovation, and we need to protect the smaller players, including the smaller countries, I would say.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, I totally agree with that. Now I would like to broaden our discussion and bring in all our speakers. So my question will be, so if AI does not understand the language, your culture, your local context, can your country truly remain digitally sovereign? So please, let's start from you. What do you think about this?
Yes, in our case, it's not really abstract question. It's very concrete one because Georgian language is very unique. It has its own context, heritage and etc. And I believe that if the model does not understand Georgian, it might mean that you're not represented in that digital world at all. It's not about translation, right? It's understanding the context and clearly understanding the customer's needs. And I think that another issue might be that you just can sit and wait when Google or OpenAI decides to have a specific focus on you, or just you invent it yourself. So I think this perspective, shifting this kind of perspective is very important. And at JITA, this is what is of utmost importance to us. We're supporting startups that are working on language models, small language models. And also I think that if we don't take too much attention towards this topic, this means that we might be digitally, not digitally sovereign at all.
Thank you. I think it's very important. Today we had a presentation about Akıl AI, which I think understands all the Kyrgyz context, Kurut, Chuchuk, and etc. So the government should support these initiatives from the market, from the startups, and etc. So, Mr. Nahiro, what do you think about this issue, about that AI should understand local languages, culture of your country?
My remark might be a bit different from your question, but in terms of cultural or social perspective. I believe that digital sovereignty and language are inseparable. If AI cannot fully understand a country's own language, the use of data will be limited, so cultural values and social norms will not be properly reflected. And in the end, both technologies and policy will become dependent on other countries. This is exactly why Japan, we are promoting the development and evaluation of trusted foundation AI models that take into account Japan's culture and social practices. And at the same time, we are working to improve and expand high-quality Japanese language data sets, including better use of existing data resources. So, but at the same time, sovereignty does not mean isolation. What is important is to design open digital sovereignty or open AI sovereignty. In other words, we need to decide which areas should be secured through domestic capabilities and which areas should be complemented through international cooperation. So, in short, AI that does not properly support language or culture cannot achieve true sovereignty. So to address this, we needed both strong domestic efforts and active international collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Anarbek, what do you think about this?
I think, yes, we should work on building up our own digital sovereignty in terms of own language models, so that we won't be behind in terms of being exposed to our history, culture, legacy, and others as the country. So in that sense, in Kazakhstan we built different LLMs like KazLLM that was being used in simple government services, and more advanced ones, Alem LLM, that is used for more complex analytical task, generative AI task as well. And in that sense, we have to think about how we can integrate with other models that is being in the market. So for example, at the moment we are working with OpenAI in terms of giving more context to the ChatGPT in terms of the Kazakhstan culture, other aspects, so that the model could better understand our context and the citizens of Kazakhstan can use it more accurately. Thank you.
Thomas, European view on this issue?
Yeah, I would say it's difficult. Yeah, sure. But we have seen the presentation in the beginning. I think you are on the right way. So definitely you decided to do something with it. And Czechia is also a relatively small country. It's around 10 million people. So even if we are part of the European Union, which is almost 500 million people, we kind of feel that despite the capacities and the research and everything, we also need the support for this, let's say, language context. So we maybe are a little bit lucky because some of the people, smart people, were part of the Google teams when they developed the first language models. So we have a very specific knowledge, and maybe this, thanks to their knowledge of the Slavic languages, the Google language model is quite strong. But definitely, it's something where the companies and public administration can cooperate and can bring up something which can be shared, kind of like a public service, the development of the language context, because the language is very much needed in public services in schools and everywhere. So if you don't have the right, let's say, sense for the context, it will be difficult to get the right answers for the future services. So definitely, you need the cooperation.
Thank you, Thomas. Patrick, I just wonder, Kyrgyzstan become the Security Council member, right, in United Nations. Can we move this agenda from the United Nations panel?
No, I think so. What I earlier say about regulation, it is true, everybody is using it. No, in my work, I'm using Copilot because I have Microsoft and use it on a daily basis. But there is this risk that it will replace jobs. No? I hear people saying as well, AI is a train. So you either get on it or the train will crush you. And I think, yeah, at the UN, we should come together. We're trying to set up advisory board on AI. AI has enormous potential, but as humanity, we need to manage the risks. So it's a very good idea. I hope the Minister of Foreign Affairs is listening and a permanent delegation in New York. Yeah, it could be that Kyrgyzstan puts it on the agenda. Because again, we don't want that a couple of people in America and China, the big countries, will rule the world by AI. And the smaller countries like Georgia and Kazakhstan, Japan, and the Czech Republic are not really at the table. So we need to make sure everybody's at the table. And yeah, the UN, we are not perfect, but I think in theory, we're the best there is to discuss these global issues.
Thank you, Patrick. So we are moving to the next question. We have only 9 minutes left, so please answer about 30 to 40 seconds. My next question will be, if you could make only one AI policy decision tomorrow, if you could make only one policy decision tomorrow, just one, what would it be? Nina.
A hard decision to make, but for my understanding, it would be human in the loop. Necessary human assessment, human impact assessment. Generally, we ask these questions when the technology is deployed, used, like who gets impacted, who lost their job, who has no longer access to the service. However, this question might be asked prior to making these decisions. Therefore, I would say human impact assessments.
Thank you. Yes, please.
I think it's a very hard question as well. And if I had to choose just one decision, it would be invest strategically in domestic AI capability, especially talent and the foundation, as I mentioned earlier, foundation models, while keeping the ecosystem open. AI leadership requires 3 elements: compute, data, and talent. So among these, talent and foundational capabilities, like LLMs, are the most decisive and scalable. So I think this is the most important AI policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Anarbek?
In my opinion, maybe if we could mandate AI systems that is being used in public services to be auditable and explainable, so that everyone can get to know how it's being affected in terms of decision making, and they know that the system is based on AI, because some of the AI systems is not explicitly shown that is being used, and it could be misleading to the humans. That's what I think. And in terms of being required to be locally supported in terms of national language, that is the key. So it will lead to the development of local language models as well.
Thomas?
Yeah, I will remain in the regional dimension. So my recommendation is just do not forget weak regions, because AI competitiveness without cohesion will create more inequalities, and a cohesion without competitiveness is simply unsustainable. So definitely we need both. So don't forget the weaker regions.
Thank you. Patrick?
So in the end, we want to create an inclusive, sustainable future for all. And I think all these discussions today, it's clear that AI is not just technology. So it's a very good last question. It is a policy choice. Now, the question is simple. So who will benefit from this, and who will be not benefit, who will be left behind? So my policy recommendation would be one caveat. We in the UN think that climate change is real. This technology absorbs a lot of fossil fuels energy at this moment. So really renewable energies. But my policy recommendation for AI is create national and international governing bodies, including all. including the people in the rural areas, including the people with disability. Women should be equally representative and have it at national level, but also at international level to kind of like take care of the risks of AI.
Okay. What do you think about the ChatGPT Plus for everyone for free in Kyrgyzstan? Next decision. Okay, we have a final question, and it will be, what's a greater risk for society? What's a greater risk for society? Powerful AI or poor human decision about how to AI governed and used? So, Nina, again from you. Please.
I would say human decisions, but it's not defense for AI because history teaches us that most destructive technologies become destructive not because, technology itself was somehow scary, but because the human decisions were involved. Technology, at least for now, is not conscious, right? So they don't make the AI does not decide to embed itself in unjust system, or AI does not decide to procure biased decisions, at least for now. That's why these are human decisions. And I think that with AI, this problem becomes more and more sharper, and we have to be very conscious about decisions relating to AI. And the previous question, I said that humans should be in the loop, and this is the idea that I think we should respect.
Personally, I believe the bigger risk lies not in AI itself, but in the quality of human decision making, because AI is just a tool. So with proper rules and strong governance, even very powerful AI can be managed. On the other hand, poor human judgment can turn even simple technologies into serious problems. So what matters most is not simply regulating AI, but building trustworthy governance, promoting international cooperation, and designing systems with a human-centered approach. Japan is also pursuing an approach that balances innovation with trust. We believe that real issue is not how powerful AI becomes, but how people choose to use it.
For me as well, it's definitely poor human decisions, because AI is not taking the decisions by itself. So it's just a tool, and we, as a human, we provide this framework of working with AI systems. And the risk is not about the powerful AI. It's I guess the risk of the government either like over-regulating it or maybe under-regulating. So in the first case, you can stringent the innovations because of the over-regulation, or on other hand, if you don't regulate anything, you could harm the whole ecosystem. So the adaptive regulation, I guess, would be a right answer when you provide some clear red lines, clear risk-based tiers on how to use it, and providing some framework for as a kind of a sandbox for testing some new solutions that could lead to innovation.
Thomas.
Yeah, I was just thinking, okay, so if you have a horrible personality and put them to the function, it's a disaster. I think it's similar with AI. So if you have a strong tool and combine it with weak institution, bad people, bad intention, and no accountability, that's a total disaster. So I think for the future, we need to teach the institution how to build and develop governance, but we need more good people for the future. So this is an imperative of the education and families for the future, to teach people how to be good humans.
Yeah, so I think you know my answer. No, I think it is poor human decisions. So AI reflects our choices, and so the real task is not to fear AI, but to govern it well.
Okay, thank you very much. So we can move to the QA, right? Moderators, we can go to the QA session. If anyone have the question from to the speakers, please feel free to raise your hand. Если у кого-то есть вопросы, пожалуйста, мы готовы на них ответить. Пожалуйста, представьтесь, скажите, кому адресуете свой вопрос и, собственно, вопрос.
Yeah, dear guests and dear panel speakers, thank you for the session. It was very interesting to listen to you. So I have a question about AI regulation. So it's obvious that in a couple of years, AI is going to be smart enough to replace most of us. And so my question is, do the governments worldwide have a plan for this? Like, I heard about regulations, as you mentioned, Patrick, but perhaps you could elaborate on that. What exactly are we talking about? Because, I mean, from my perspective, it's like nobody's prepared for what's coming.
Who wanna take this one? Nina,
Yeah.
please.
As far as I understood correctly, you're referring what is actually AI regulation, right? So it depends on where you are. Of course, I mean, if you are more of to European perspective or American, which is more like flexible one. However, the process should be in this way that all the stakeholders, including startups, big corporations, regulators, policymakers, everyone should be involved in the decision makings when you're actually drafting the provisions of this specific act. This was how EU AI Act was drafted. This was how Council of Europe's Convention was drafted. So we should respect this idea of involving all parties into this drafting process. And when it comes to businesses, of course, from their perspective, any regulation might be considered as additional burden. However, the perspective that Thomas mentioned earlier, this is who we are, these are our values, this is uniqueness, for example, being in Europe, when you just have to be self-assured that the systems are secured and trustworthy. And I believe that this is the idea behind every regulation, that we should have trust towards a particular system, especially if they are high-risk AI systems. Thank you.
Дорогие друзья, активнее нужно будет поднимать руки. Что вам интересно, please raise your hands because we have a gift from our partners from Kulikov, the monthly supply of coffee. Okay, I think so cool gift, and our moderator, Mr. Azamat, I think you will choose the best question. Друзья, поднимаем руки, задаем вопросы всем спикерам обязательно, потому что самый лучший вопрос получит месячный запас кофе от наших партнеров и друзей Куликов. Наши спикеры совместно с модератором выберут самый лучший вопрос в конце.
Hello, thank you for the session members. It was very interesting to listen to you. I have a question regarding the moral standards. Do powerful people realize that there is no one moral standard for everyone, and will they eventually decide on one moral standard and force this standard on everyone, regardless of their culture basically? Because even right now, there is no one moral standard for everyone. So will big powerful corporation governments force and decide these moral standards, or will let the people live like they want? So that's my question. Thank you.
Sound was just.
No, I can quickly
did
say
someone
something
get-
on the former as well. I really believe we're building the plane while we're flying. The world has never dealt with this. So I'm myself also a little bit scared. And I think as well, a lot of jobs will be lost. If the self-driving car comes, you don't need taxi drivers anymore. We cannot reskill the taxi drivers in I don't know what. So the world needs to be ready, and I think every government is grappling with it. As the UN, we have an advisory board on AI, and we're trying to get more countries in that advisory board. So before I was in Vietnam, so now Vietnam is in the board. So we want to have more country representatives than only the big ones who are driving the AI to get a more equal playing field. I read in the newspapers that in China you have a rule, you cannot fire people and use the reason that because of AI. So I think as well, government should come up with rules for protecting jobs. And the moral standards on the last questions, yes, I think the world should come together and we should agree on moral standards of using this AI. Yeah, the UN is in a bit of a difficult position. We have 193 countries who all need to get together and agree on something. That agreeing takes some time, but I think for now it's the best platform and we should keep trying. And Kyrgyzstan, put it on the agenda.
Can you hear me? My name is Kamil Gainudinov. I'm the CEO of KG Aerospace, the resident here in the high-tech park. We do create a lot of software using AI. Apparently, we're kind of at the forefront in some sense. And being the CEO and the owner of the company, of course, my interest is to reduce the headcount. Reduce the headcount as quickly and as much as practicable, of course. And I'm really happy with what AI is doing, right? The things that I've had dozens of software developers, and you know, they don't come close on how quickly AI is doing right now. So my question is, we all know that it's coming. People will be, we spoke about that briefly here as well. People will be let out of their jobs. I mean, our families, extended families, all will be, nobody will be spared. And there's even talk up to 99%, not like 50 or 60%, up to 99%. There may be some transition period, but 99%. So universal basic income will be the likely solution. UBM, you might have heard about that, right? And I do write articles myself on that. And in some of the leading countries like US, where the majority of the companies are who are promising to pay taxes such that those taxes are going to normal people, what happens to smaller countries that don't have those companies? I mean, how will they pay, like 7 million people here, for example, right? How will they pay UBM out of whatever is available, the pool of companies that's available, especially if you do open source, if you reduce taxes and stuff. I know you may not have an immediate answer, but at least what your thought process is. It has to do with the government. And we know government is also influenced by the corporate interests, the large corporations, of course. So I'm curious if anybody can share what your thoughts are, what the future holds for us. I know I'm in aviation for 35 years. I know that aviation as a result will benefit. That's the forecast, especially because of that richer part of the population. And UBM will also help, but there'll be a major shakeup. So I'm curious what you think relative to UBM, Universal Basic Income, will come from.
Very difficult question. I don't think we have the answer for that, but definitely the academics are trying to research and discuss the stuff. I think the most problematic, if that's the future, even the more problematic is the transition period. So once you have a new economic system, the people somehow adjust. But how you transit from the social market-oriented social system or economic system to what you said based upon a basic income, I'm not sure. My proposition is very much based upon what I have said. So we need more good people. If we have more good people, then we can kind of count with certain responsibility and not just a very cold decision. Okay, we have AI, now we can fire people. I would say the most strategic companies, and I can see it also in our region, those who employed digitalization and robotics, they just did not fire the people. They find another purpose and build the potential so they can still have the people. So they have the same amount of people, they multiply the production. So I think this might be a role model for the future. If we have more companies and more people leading the companies like this, okay, we have more efficient tools, how we can improve the lives of our employees, then I have a certain small belief that the future is not that black as you describe, and hopefully not, because if you fire all the people, who will buy the stuff? Yeah, so you have to think in consequences, and if the companies are very short-sighted and very cold in decisions without thinking in mid and long terms, then definitely we are on a wrong path. So definitely more good people, more responsible companies searching for potential. That's a good way. Or maybe the AI will bring a lot of opportunities where the people can really hire themselves and bring more opportunities for themselves from home. I don't know.
I see another hand. Okay. As you can see. Yeah. Go, please.
Okay. How I know? Today, no. How I know? You know the better what happened today with the education system depends on the AI, and depend on that, we doesn't compare what comes from the education system and tools which we have today using from AI, like Headmaze, OpenClaw, and something that way. Our education system, like universities, schools, doesn't teach that technologies. They only talk about the how AI is important and how they can change our life and something that way. But in practically, we can't say that it's really help us, or we don't teach about these tools which we have today most like that. And compare with that, we have the example of ChatGPT. We have the new top tier model like GPT 5.5 that can find only 16% of the AI writer text. That gives us the real example how the AI, how difficult to control the AI in the education system. How we can to change it, how we can to, I don't know, maybe we need to create something unfortunately different from universities or schools. Maybe incubation program, I don't know, or something that way for education. What we can do.
You want to take it, Anarbek?
Yeah, I can share what we do in terms of education in AI in Kazakhstan. So at Astana Hub, we launched our own IT school called Tomorrow School that is focused on educating people in AI in terms of how to use it and develop some new solutions. So that's for people 18 plus, so for the mature citizens. This is kind of an alternative education for the higher education system. And apart from that, we also launched called Tuma Center. That's the system that was already being used around the world. That's the peer-to-peer learning for the children from age 12 to 18 to the new, to taking new skills. And apart from that, we also launched this program called AI Sana. That's a specific program to implement AI education to the universities, teaching the teachers, professors, and then launching this training programs for the students. So in that sense, we are taking these initiatives so that the whole country, all parts of the users can get into their hands the AI tools and build upon that the new solutions. Thank you.
And it's time for last question.
Nina, please.
I wanted to add on your question. Some schools have this approach of actually prohibiting AI systems for using. I believe that should not be the case, because if you prohibit at school's premises, the student will use it anyways. However, the approach should be different. Sometimes in the loop, they also have the students or pupils. However, they sometimes forget teachers and educators. I think that AI literacy literacy and ethical and responsible usage of AI should be taught with the educators as well. From policymakers' perspective, I can say that creating actual talent pool is really important, and we're heavily investing in it. And we cannot deny the fact that AI is entering into educational institutions. This is reality. And now we have to understand how we can do it the best.
Thank you. Do you have?
And the last question.
Thank you so much for your panel discussion. My question will be regarding the national strategy and the policy regulation. And as you know, there are like in Europe, within the EU, and in Korea and China, there's like the AI policies coming up right now. And there's a lot of fragmentation between like Asia, Europe, or like the Western, and then the Asian hemisphere, and we can see like the fragmentation is going like everywhere. And do we need the framework like for the whole Earth to like kind of comprehensively put the policies, or because it's concerning national sovereignty, does like every country need to have their own policies and the framework? And is it even possible like WTO did with the tariffs and then in economic zone? So yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Patrick.
But on regulation, I think every country should have its own regulation, and there should be an overarching regulation for the world. And so the UN has an AI task force and advisory board, and they're coming up with the global kind of like guidelines. The problem is, of course, that every country is autonomous and every country can decide for themselves. So it's very difficult with treaties and conventions to get member states to sign off on it. But I think that could be the architecture, that we have a global, goes as well to the other question, a moral conduct, what we as a planet agree on AI, but then every country needs to adjust also its national strategy.
Nina, do you want to add something?
Yes, like for example, I can recall, and I've mentioned it if I'm not mistaken, European Convention on AI, Human Rights, Democracy, and the Rule of Law. This is actually a binding instrument that is open for signature for countries not members of the Council of Europe. We can say that it might be regarded as universal right, but having universal regulation in its sense, it's not the like a solution per se, right? So you have to have a regulation that is fitting on your own cultural and I don't know, just legal system. However, AI brought the new perspective, which is you have to talk to anyone. I mean, regional partnerships are the more important that it was before, especially the role of international organizations, I think today is more important. And this cooperation and partnerships have never been more, how to say, impactful than it might be today in the evolving era of AI. Thank you.
Друзья, давайте поаплодируем друг другу. Прекрасные вопросы, отличная панельная сессия. And it's time for best question. You will choose, Mr. Azamat.
I thought my question was best, no? I like the question about the education and AI from the young Jigit from the middle of the gentleman.
Друзья, давайте поздравим. Напомню, месячный запас кофе от наших дорогих партнеров Куликов. Thank you so much for our panelists, for our moderator. Огромное спасибо. Давайте, друзья, поаплодируем нашим спикерам, участникам панельной сессии. Огромное отдельное спасибо мистеру Азамату, модератору нашей панельной сессии. Друзья, перед тем, как я объявлю сейчас дальше следующую информацию, просьба, пожалуйста, запомнить одну цифру, одно время, это 13:45, хорошо? Это время, во сколько я буду ждать всех вас здесь для розыгрыша наших следующих подарков. И хочется объявить, dear guest, take around the expo. The address is on the right. We will exit through the sport hall. Is there a lot of very interesting content there? IT companies from Kyrgyzstan are showcasing their developments and services. Друзья, у нас уже открыта зона экспо. Как выходим, с правой стороны у нас там будет вход в спортзал. Обязательно загляните, там очень много интересного. IT-компания Кыргызстана представляет свои наработки, свои услуги. Там же, друзья, на зоне экспо от нашего генерального спонсора компании СБ будет проводить розыгрыш крупных классных подарков за их шатром на улице у входа. Кроме этого, у нас в соседнем здании идут параллельные сессии, которые будут проходить ровно в 2 в аудитории 607 и 608. Туда тоже обязательно заглядывайте. Там у нас будет спикерами Алиса Рос из Azure Games и также спикер из Грузии миссис Джоргадзе. И всех приглашаем на обед. Всем желаем приятного аппетита, друзья. 13:45, час 45. Всех буду ждать. Будем разыгрывать очень классные, крутые подарки. У нас будет викторина сразу же после обеда. Не опаздываем, пожалуйста. Friends, now we are going to lunch. Please enjoy from your partners and the food court. We will wait you.